Welcome to the Totally Honest Cooking Show. I'm Mark. Today we're making green bean casserole. Okay, I stole this recipe from Babish and I've made it for Christmases, Thanksgivings, New Year's Eve. It's amazing. I would eat this constantly if it would not probably kill me. Let's go! So first thing, we're separating the stems from 8 ounces of criminy mushrooms. If you can find them stemmed and sliced, do that instead. It's easier. After that, we're going to wash all this crud off of them. If I were just making this for myself, I probably wouldn't even bother stemming them. I would just trim the stems down and then cut up the stems too. But if you're trying to impress people, don't do that. Okay, with these, you're just smashing them and then chopping them up the rest of the way. And they're mushrooms, so don't go too crazy. You don't need to be perfect. It's supposed to be kind of rustic. With the mushrooms chopped, we're moving to the stovetop, where we're throwing in 3 tablespoons of butter over medium heat. Let that dance around for a minute. Throwing in our mushrooms. Then you want a big old pinch of salt to keep it company. Keep in mind that the recipe says to deglaze with cognac. You can use brandy or whiskey if you don't have those lying around. The liquid has all come out of the mushrooms, so it's time to add some flour, 1 tablespoon. Just kind of mixing it around. This recipe calls for 2 cloves of garlic, crushed. So I'm pressing in some garlic. Give that a minute. Okay, at this point you should have a bunch of BCBs, burnt crunchy bits at the bottom, which we're going to deglaze with some brandy. If you have cognac, use cognac. One and a half cups chicken stock. We're also going to add 1 cup of heavy cream. Now we're going to heat to a simmer. Well, that's coming to a simmer. We're going to prep our green beans. We're going to need 4 cups. I've got 2 big bags of green beans. And you want to cut the tips off. And then cut them into 1-inch pieces. If you don't know what that looks like, it looks like this. And no, I don't intend to cut them all one at a time. That was for example. You can start showboating once you get used to it. 3s, 4s, whatever. Just make sure that you don't put the stems in the freaking casserole. Once it gets simmering, we're going to turn the heat down. Then we're going to hit it with a dash, that was more than a dash, of soy sauce. You only want a dash there. And a dash of fish sauce for luck. That was actually a dash. Woo! Watch out for those caps. It'll be okay. And we're going to keep it cooking. Let it reduce until it's dark and looks like mushroom soup. You betrayed me, soy sauce container. I can never forgive you. By the way, the soup will not taste like either soy sauce or fish sauce. You're adding kind of an umami bomb with both of them. The little dash of fish sauce you'll barely even notice. Even the big glug of soy sauce that I inadvertently threw in here will not harm anything. And here I'm just shy of 4 cups, so I've got my other bag of green beans that I'm going to break into. Normally, I make the soup and I blanch the green beans the day before. Out of ice can't stop the cooking process. So, my soup looks good and thick like a soup should. So I'm taking that off the heat. You can make this casserole all in one day, but like I said, I'm making mine for tomorrow. So I'm going to cool this down and then fridge it. Okay, now I'm bringing a mess of water to a boil to blanch my green beans. I'm also going to prep 2 onions for frying, starting by cutting them in half. You want it big uns. You absolutely could use a chef's knife for this, but I'm just going to use a mandolin because it is faster and easier. Here the recipe says add 1 cup of buttermilk. I'm just going to cover it, so however much that takes. By soaking the onions, we'll get the bitterness out and make them easier to eat, while also giving them some tang from the buttermilk. We're going to let these soak for 15 minutes, and we're going to turn our attention to the green beans in the meantime. Back on the stove, our water's boiling. I'm going to throw my green beans in. And we're going to let these go for 2 minutes until they're bright orange. The goal of this is to surprise the green beans so that they stop cooking. That hot to cold water really knocks the cook right out of them. They're like, ah! It's been about 15 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and drain off our buttermilk. Next up, we're adding flour. This is a cup of flour. I'm not adding it all at once. Okay, these don't seem coated enough to me at all, so I'm going to add more flour. Maybe my onions were too big. We're going to see if a bigger bowl helps solve our problems. At this point, the recipe says that you should shake off any excess flour in a whisk. I've never had excess flour on this, mostly because I probably use way too much buttermilk. But you will note that it's starting to get that gummy texture, which means that at least they're coated with the flour. A little bit of vegetable oil. You could absolutely use cast iron for this. The recipe says to, but I'm lazy and this is less scary to me. We're heating vegetable oil to 300 degrees. Seriously, the homemade fried onions are my favorite part. I really love them. Like, they're way better than onion straws could ever be. Once you hit 300 degrees, go ahead and drop in your onions. You're going to let these cook until they're golden brown, or 7 to 10 minutes. At this point, I'm going to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Okay, I've got my par-cooked green beans. I've got about half of my onion straws. Just shake all that in. Go ahead and add the soup. Give everybody a good mix. Now it's time to butter our casserole dish. Make sure you butter your casserole dish. You don't want to have any whoopsie doodles. Transfer everything to the casserole dish. Put the lid on, 15 to 20 minutes in the oven. Don't forget to get the second batch of onion straws. "15 minutes later, and we're taking it out. We're going to go ahead and arrange our onions on top so it looks all pretty. If you have extras, feel free to consume them now with reckless abandon. And now we're putting it in like this for another 5 or 10 minutes. Give it a little time to bubble up, and here we are. I'm not going to plate it and eat any because I'm on my way to a potluck and I'm late. Like, subscribe, ding the little bell, leave a comment down below, let me know how I'm doing. And I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.